Hey guys, ArtisanTony. And no, I'm not going to turn into a moonshiner, even though I am from Tennessee. But I was inspired by OilTheGun's recent video on Mead. And since my heritage is from Ireland, County of Clare to be exact, I think my relatives came over around 1790, settled in the Appalachian Mountains, and most of my family is from the Appalachian Mountains up near Sevierville and Wares Valley. Thanks a lot, Sink. And no, I'm not turning into an alcoholic. I just think this will be fun. I think what I'm going to do too is give away most of this. I bought these cool bottles from Italy. Holy cow. And what I'll be doing is bottling this wine and putting a neat artisan label on it and giving most of it away. You know, you can actually learn how to make wine and not be an alcoholic. And let me say this too, for the preppers out there, I'm trying to become a prepper. I really am. But it seems like all my other hobbies get in the way. And I know you're going to say, that's not a hobby. I know prepping is not a hobby, but my hobbies get in the way of me prepping, if that makes any sense. But you will notice that a lot of preppers do learn how to make homemade wine or whatever, spirits or whatever. Just look at it this way. I'm preserving over 2 pounds of honey. If this honey sat on the shelf for 2 or 3 years, it would go bad like this. But if I go ahead and ferment it and put it in my carboy or in my bottles, I can extend the life of that for a very long time. Okay, so obviously an enemy of fermentation or your yeast is bacteria. So this is a product that came with my kit, which I've seen a lot of people use. It's a rinseless cleaner. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean our first container. This apparently doesn't take a whole lot, so I'm going to put that was a big heaping tablespoon, and I guess I'm going to clean my hands at the same time. So I'm just going to rinse this out. I'm also going to put my airlock in there. Anything that's going to come into contact Okay, so after you get your water up to about 140, 50 degrees, something like that, you pour your honey in and you don't want this to boil. You don't want to destroy the molecular properties of the honey. You don't want to, all you're trying to do is dissolve it a little bit so it'll mix well. You can see here, this is the consistency of real honey. If this was processed honey, it would be coming out a lot slower. I mean, a lot faster, sorry. Yeah, 1.247, let's see, 1 quart. Well, it's a good thing I checked that jar, because I was thinking it was about 1.5 pounds, but that's actually 2.5 pounds of honey, which is what I want because I want the drier. I don't like sweet tasting of wine or whatever. So if you want sweet, you would add about 3.25 pounds of honey, and the dry, you'd want this, about this much, 2.5 pounds. Man, I almost poured that whole, I almost poured 2 of these in there. I'm glad I double checked. Okay, to activate my yeast, I heated up some water. I got it a little too hot. It was about 150 degrees. I didn't want to fry the little boogers, so I let it cool down to about 100 degrees. I hope that's not going to kill them. But, so I'm just going to activate this yeast. Now, this says it'll do 5 gallons. I'm afraid to put the whole thing in there. I'm just doing 1 gallon. I wonder how much I should put. I guess I should be measuring it, huh? Put a little more. Guess it won't hurt too much. There's my oranges, as Oil the Gun recommended. It's funny, I didn't have any raisins, except for this little mix of yogurt and raisins. So I'm having to pick out raisins out of it. Thought I had some, but I didn't. I think it said use about 20. We'll give it the old artisan eyeball. I know you can't see them on that plate. Okay, so in the honey mixture, that's really not as hot as it looks. I'm going to put one of these tablets, and if anybody knows what these are for, let me know. The Camden tablets. This is my first time at winemaking or brewing or anything, so if you happen to know what these are for. There's this acid blend that's got the malic and tartaric acid. 3 tablespoons some of this yeast nutrient. I guess they gotta have their vitamins too. And tannin. Since a 1/4 tablespoon, I'm going to be really shy about this because I don't want to put, oops, yeah, that's about all I'm going to put. Tannin. I'm going to trust the recipe, but that just seems strange to me. Again, if somebody knows why we need to put tannin. I know the tannins in red wine, I think, come from the peels of red wine. But the subject of tannin is pretty deep because it's also, you're also talking about tannic acid, I think, which is used in tanning leather. So just the thought of that doesn't make me want to put a lot in there. Okay, one of the things I like about using this container is that it has this big lid, and I don't have to worry about cramming these oranges in my carboy, because what I'm going to do is it'll sit in this container for about a month, and then I'll transfer it to my 1 gallon carboy, and these will not go. These are just for the kind of the initial, and I'm just kind of squishing them to open up the little cells there. Squishy, squishy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the honey mixture with all the other ingredients. Hope I don't spill anything. This is the other thing that's nice about starting off in a big container, is you don't have to worry about all the funnels and junk. Now I'm going to add my oranges and raisins. Yummy. I'm going to add the rest of my clean water. As you can see down here, it says 1 gallon. I'm going to put a little bit more in there because I've got the oranges, and I just want to put a little more because I know I'm going to have a little waste as far as transferring to the carboy. Now I'm going to mix that up real good. I got this water out of the refrigerator at the store, so I was afraid it would be too cold. But now with the other water hot, I think I've come up with a happy medium as far as not shocking the yeast. So I'm going to go ahead and pour the yeast in. And just lightly mix that up. Either it worked or it didn't, or it's going to work or it's not. So, put my lid on here. It has a really good seal on it. Again, the nice thing about this kit, and I'll show a close-up of that label, is it has this nifty lid with a rubber seal. on it. So in about a month I'll do an update, and that should be bubbling, hopefully. Sweet dreams, little boogers.